We turn to our political panel this evening. Mark Simone, talk radio host in New York, joins us, and also Reese Esq, attorney and founder of Babes in the Workplace. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Mark, I'll go with you first because I know you know Trump. Is he selling hard on this? Is this the biggest political scandal ever?
Yeah, it's the biggest waste of money ever. It's the biggest hoax investigation ever, the Russia Mueller stuff. And now it turns out you may end up prosecuting the prosecutors. You know, 5 top FBI officials have either been fired or reassigned. That's never happened before. Something happened here. There was some spying. There was some surveillance. They can't claim it was something about Russia that was concerning them because no campaign had more interaction with the Russians than the Hillary campaign. And we can't find any evidence they were doing any surveillance or spying on them.
Reese, what about James Clapper's credibility at this point? He goes so far as to say if the FBI was infiltrating or had an informant or spy, and he used the word spy, that it was a good thing. Well, why didn't he say that when he became a private citizen? Why is it happening now? Mark, you go ahead and answer that. She couldn't hear what I was saying.
Well, you know, the other question is, if they did have moles, if they did have spies, if they did all this surveillance, obviously they found nothing. Otherwise, they would have arrested somebody, or they would have handed this evidence to Mueller, who would have been able to indict somebody by now. And you know, so far, Mueller's investigated Michael Cohen's taxi cab business, Manafort's lobbying from 20 years ago. He hasn't even come close to anything with Donald Trump or the campaign.
Okay. What about the obstruction of documents to Congress, Mark? I mean, they're in contempt of Congress right now. Congress is the investigating arm for the United States of America, and they have been stonewalled. How do you defend that?
Well, you can't defend that. That's why Rod Rosenstein was in the White House yesterday, and the president ordering them to cooperate. Let's shine some light on this. There's some transparency here. Let the House look at it. I mean, it's the most important thing in the world is to clear this up. If you can't trust our intelligence community, our FBI, this is a real threat to democracy.
All right.
At the same time, Ray said that even if, and of course this is Trump's guy, that when you began to investigate and go into releasing the source of confidential information, I mean, if we can't as a people rely on the protection of people who have come forward to speak about what's going on, what are we actually doing? What kind of investigation is this? This is becoming something that's dangerous and creating an unstable precedent.
So you're saying that it was good to put a spy inside a political campaign in America?
Don't they have to
No, the question is, can they justify this? That's the question.
Is this actually a spy, or is this someone with information who came forward? We still have yet to determine that.
The information was the dossier, which was phony from day one. I mean, that was kicked off the investigation. And so that's why I believe James Clapper's credibility comes into serious question here. I mean, you have people who were connected to the Clinton campaign that clearly did not want Donald Trump to be president of the United States. Why is it so hard for the mainstream media in this country, Reese, to say that?
Fine, fair enough. We have people who didn't want Donald Trump to become president, but did the issue become that someone released information because they wanted to, or because they were working in collusion with Russia, and that seemed to be an issue, or did they actually were they actually a plant? We have to actually say one or the other, and right now we don't have that answer.
Well, right now Clapper is in his most recent interview is using Russia as the scapegoat. That they were concerned about Russia. Well, if that's the case, where the hell was this guy named Barack Obama? Mark, I mean, I think that's a pretty fair question. If they were so concerned about Russian influence, and oh, by the way, Google, Facebook, and Twitter executives testified in front of Congress saying that they had no influence, the Russians had no influence on the election, and that they spent minimal dollars whatsoever. But Clapper, of course, went in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee and went so far as to pin it on RT. I mean, this has got cabal written all over it. And now Trump has got the outside guts of outside Washington to call him on it. Now, that's an opinion, but prove it wrong.
Well, it's important that the Gang of Eight is used in something of this magnitude so that there is resources and insight from both sides, and that this is not just a partisan investigation.
And the Gang of Eight does include John McCain, right, who's a real big fan of Donald Trump. I mean, the swamp still includes the Gang of Eight. And the former FBI director, James Mueller, he didn't know that this was going on. And Clapper didn't reveal it until he wanted to write a book this week. Mark, you got the last word.
Hey, I don't know if there was any, I don't think there was any Russian collusion, but there was certainly nothing between Trump and the Russians. Yet with the Hillary campaign, her husband's getting a fortune for speeches in Russia. Her foundation's getting a massive sum from Russia. Her campaign manager's involved with Russia. His brother's a paid Russian agent. I don't think there was collusion. But why is it anybody looking at that?
Great to have both of you with us tonight. Reese Esq and Mark Simone, thank you.
Thank you.